Alright, welcome to Daily Coding Challenges. We're going to take a JavaScript challenge question from the internet and try to solve it. We're going to go ahead and jump in right now. So have the function LongestWord take the sentence parameter being passed and return the largest word in the string. If there are two or more words that are the same length, return the first word from the string with that length. Ignore punctuation and assume sentence will not be empty. Okay, so we want to return the largest word. If there are two or more words with the same length, return the first one. And ignore punctuation and assume it will not be empty. Okay, so ignore punctuation. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is make a little helper function that will remove non-characters. So punctuate anything that shouldn't be. It looks like all we should have is letters or numbers and none of this other stuff. So I guess for this one we would want to have the word time returned because time has 4 letters and fun has 3, and we need to ignore these 3 characters. And for the second one, love and dogs are the same length, but love comes first, so we need to return that. And I guess for this one, it looks like this has 9 characters and this has 8. So I guess we would want to return that first one. So I guess I'll go ahead and set up my main function, which is LongestWord. That takes in sentence. And I'm going to go ahead and just set up my helper function real quick to remove non-characters. That's going to take in a word. And let's see. So if we're going to be removing characters, we'll need we'll just stick to, we'll call it new word. So we'll have an empty string variable here to store our word after we remove the characters, and we need something to check which characters are acceptable or not. So we'll say let alpha equal I don't see any capital letters in the example, so I'm not going to worry about capitals. So we'll say ABC. Okay. And also numbers are acceptable, and nothing else should be acceptable. So we have an empty string to store a new word. We have our variable to check which characters are acceptable. So we'll go ahead and set up a for loop. So we'll say that I equals 0, while I is less than word.length, and I plus plus. And we'll say if alpha includes a word at the current index, new string will plus equal word at the current index. And okay, so if the character at the current index is not in here, it will not get added to new word. So that'll be our way of removing it. So we'll go ahead and return new word at the end. And I did it here also. New word. Okay, and that should work when we go to use it. So let's go ahead and get started in our main function. And okay, so we have a string. We need to break that into individual words. So we'll say let words array equal sentence.split at the space, and let's see, and we'll want to set up another variable to store words in. So we'll set up an empty array, and let's go ahead and make a for loop. So let j equal 0, or j is less than words array dot length j plus plus, and we'll go ahead and use our helper function that we made. So we'll say words.push, remove non-characters of words array at the current index, and that should, I'm going to return it just to make sure it's working the way I think it is. So if this is working correctly, we should be getting, the only thing this should affect is this first one. It should remove these non-characters, the punctuation. So let's see if that's working correctly. Line 14, I said I, but I made it J. Oops. Let's try that again. Okay, so I obviously had a mistype and did not put the letter M. So let's try this again. Okay, so fun time, I love dogs, and our numbers. So it looks like everything's working correctly there. So okay, so that functionality works up until this point. So what do we need to do now? If there are two more words that have the same length, return the first word with that length. Okay, so so let's set up another loop. So let k equal 0, k is less than words dot length k plus plus, and let's see. Okay, so we need to return the first word from the string with that length. Okay, so I'm going to do something hacky, I think. I'm going to say let start equal words at the 0 index, and this is basically, I'm going to store that first word in the array. I'm going to check each word against that word to see if the next word has a length larger than this length, and if it does, we'll go ahead and make start equal that new word. And I think we'll check if the next word is equal to this length, then we'll just skip over it and we won't replace it, since we want the first word with that length. So we'll say if words at the current index dot length is greater than start if words at the current index dot length is greater than start, then we'll say start equals words at the current index. And we'll say else if start.length, I'm sorry, we need to check that individual word. The way this is worded, it'll check the length of the array, so we need start at the 0 index.length. And the same thing here, and the same thing here. So if words at the I.length is greater than start 0.length, start 0 equals words at the I. Also if start 0.length is equal to words at the I index.length. Oops. Then we want to run some code here. Let's see if the lengths are equal. Then we want it to do change nothing, so we'll say start 0 again just equals start 0. Nothing changes. And I believe that should do it. So at the end we want to return start. We're returning an array right now, so we'll want to join I think that should do it. Let's run it and see. Line 20, I is not okay. So this loop was using K, and I for some reason wanted to use I everywhere. So let's change all of those. Okay, let's try this again. I did the same thing somewhere else. Nope, line 27, return start. Start.join is not a function. Oh, this is not an array right now. I think that makes it an array. Let's find out. That did it. So that whole time I was using these index values and I did not need to. Instead of going back and changing them all, I just went ahead and made this an array. I don't know why I thought that was an array. Let's start equal words at the 0. So that was literally just a string. For some reason I thought it was an array. I don't know why. But we did it anyway. I think. Yes, I need to check it. Time, it has 4 letters and fun has 3, so that is correct. Love and dogs both have a length of 4, but love comes first, so that is correct. And for our numbers, the first string here, the first half of this string has 9, characters or length of 9. And the second one is missing the 1, so it has 8, so this is correct also. So it looks like it's solved. So if you have any questions, leave it in the comments and I will try to help you out as best as I can. If I don't get to your question, hopefully somebody else in the comments will help you out. But I will try my best to answer any questions that I see. And I'll catch you next time.